Hey everyone, Monica here. I know it's been a long time since I've made a video. I'm not even sure how long, maybe a couple years or so. And I definitely didn't plan on doing a video today. I wasn't sure if I'd ever make a video again, honestly, just because I wasn't feeling called to it. But I wanted to get on here today and talk about a topic that has really been on my mind lately. It's a lesson I feel like I've been learning my whole life, and I'm 34 now. But as of recent, it's really been coming up a lot lately. And that topic is forgiveness. Forgiveness, I feel like, is a very complex idea and something that can be sort of complicated to put into practice. It's something that I feel like I haven't really fully understood, like what it is or how to do it or when to do it, when I'm ready to do it. And I know I may not have all the answers right now, but I wanted to share something that I've realized just today, and I hope that maybe it helps someone out there who's also struggling with forgiveness. So today, as I was cleaning my house and doing some chores, a friend, well, an ex-friend, an old friend that I no longer friends with or in contact with for years now, but we were friends for about 10 years. And we were very close during that time. And I won't go into the reasons why we stopped being friends. I was the one who ended the friendship. And it didn't end on good terms. There was a lot of animosity there at the end. And for some reason, this old friend kept popping into my head today as I was cleaning. And I found myself, as I was observing my thoughts, getting really worked up and upset about all the things that were negative about our friendship that had happened in the past. And I thought by now I would be over it because it's been so much time that's gone in between the last time I saw her and now. But those old feelings were still stirring up in me, and they were causing me to feel very riled up. And so what I decided to do, instead of just focusing on all those negative things that happened between us, all the bad things, I started to also acknowledge all of the good things about our friendship, about the things that she had done for me in the past, things that were very considerate, situations that she helped me through, advice that she had given me, fun times where we laughed and just, I don't know, I felt comforted, and we just had a good time doing whatever. And as I started thinking about some of those things, then more and more things popped up that I had forgotten about the good qualities of our friendship. And then after doing that, I felt, I don't know, I felt so much better. And I said in my mind, I said, thank you so much for everything that you've done for me. And I'm sorry for anything that I may have done to hurt or upset you. And I forgive you for anything and everything you've done that ended up hurting and upsetting me. And I can't explain how much better I felt afterwards. I felt super light, and I felt just super, I don't know, just happy, just so much better than I felt all day. Just relieved, and it felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders that I had been carrying all this time, and I don't think I even fully consciously realized it. It was more of a subconscious thing. And not only that, I did do this once before, actually, not too long ago. I think it was just a week or two ago. I had done this also with another friend who I hadn't talked to for over a year. And I really, how do I say this? I thought we had a good friendship, I will say. Nothing bad happened. We never really fought or anything, but for some reason, this person just one day stopped returning my texts. They just ghosted me. And this has happened multiple times in my life with friends. Uh, I tend to be the person, even if I don't feel like it, really, I will always respond to people over text, even if it takes me a while. But this person just, I didn't hear from them. And so throughout the year, I would think of them and I would start to feel bad. Like, well, what happened? Did I do something? Did I not do something? Did I say something? And just wondered what happened to this person. And then I started getting upset thinking about it. And then I changed the narrative in my mind and I just said, again, you know what? Thank you so much for everything you've taught me. Thank you for being a friend to me during the times that we were friends. And I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate, what you've done for me. And then I let it go. And I kid you not, about 3 hours later, this person out of the blue sent me an email. And not only did they send me an email, I guess currently they're still living in the state that I had met them, like they had lived there all this time. And I don't live in that state anymore, but I have another friend who lives in that state. So I visit her about once a year for about a week. And it just happened to be the time I was about to go. It was like 2 days away from me flying out to see that friend in that state. And so this other friend also was open to meeting up while I was there. And it just seemed so synchronistic. I know some people may say it's a coincidence. I don't personally believe in coincidences. I believe in synchronicities, divine synchronicities that are meant to happen. And so I got very excited and happy that we had reconciled and he didn't seem to be upset with me at all. And the kind of funny thing is that when I went to go see this other friend, I ended up cutting my trip short for several reasons. One of them being that there was something I needed to go back home for. And I was only there for 2 nights out of 9 days that I was supposed to be there. And this other friend who I wanted to see also, who had emailed me, he said that he was getting very busy and we hadn't nailed down a day or time to hang out. But that same day, the same night before I was leaving the next morning, he was like, hey, can you hang out today? And I was like, yeah, actually that's perfect because I have to cut my trip short and I have to leave early tomorrow morning. And so within a few hours, we ended up hanging out after that text. And it was perfect. I met up with him and I met up with 2 of his friends and we had a beautiful, deep, long conversation. It was very much about soul and spiritual stuff, about what this channel is focused on. And it was very healing and it gave me a lot of confirmation for things that I had been going through in my life, especially recently. And they even mentioned the whole thing about forgiveness and going back and thinking of the good things that happened in the friendship without me even saying anything at all about it. So that definitely felt like confirmation for learning forgiveness at this time. So those are 2 examples that I wanted to share about how I forgave someone. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about balance when it comes to forgiveness, because I feel like for the most part, a lot of us tend to go to one extreme or the other. So there'll usually be people who, when they think about an old friendship or someone that they felt had wronged them or hurt their feelings, they will only think about all of the bad things that happened and they will not think about any of the good things that happened with that friendship. And then there's the other people who will only think about the positive things and not acknowledge the negative things. And they might do what some people term toxic positivity, which I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I would infer that it means that you're not acknowledging both sides, that you're just only trying to be positive and it doesn't feel authentic or genuine because you're repressing those negative feelings and trying to bypass those negative emotions and only stick to the positive. So I personally I've done both, and I don't think either are the best ways to go about it because it's not balanced. I think it's better to acknowledge both sides. So for me, for example, I will usually acknowledge everything that bothers me, that I didn't like, everything that was negative, and be like, you know what, this situation just sucked. Just really, really engage in the negative side. And then I have to balance it out by also acknowledging all the good things that happened from, let's say, a friendship, like an old friendship. And once I do that, oh, it is so incredibly healing, let me tell you. So another thing I want to acknowledge is when to forgive someone. I don't think that it's a good idea to try to forgive someone if you're not ready to forgive them. I know for me, I was not ready for years and years and years before learning this lesson, and it seemed to be on my own. I didn't really hear this or talk to anyone else about this before. It's just something that came up for me personally. So I think to know when you're ready it's not someone else telling you that you're ready. I don't even think it's so much like a therapist telling you you're ready. I think that you have to know for yourself when you're ready, and it's kind of like being in love. People will say, well, how do you know if you're in love with somebody, if they're the one? It's like, you just know. It's kind of like you don't have to learn how to chew food or swallow food. It's just, you just know. It's something that's inherent. So I think when you're ready, you will know. So I think it's best not to try and force it, because then it won't be authentic. Another thing is, I don't feel that this process happens overnight. Like you just say, oh, I forgive this person and it's all good. I think that the best practice, at least for me, is every time that a person pops up into my mind and I'm feeling those negative feelings, especially like a friendship, it could be an ex to like an intimate relationship. It doesn't have to be just like a platonic friendship. Any kind of relationship, a family member, something like that, is to just practice thinking about both sides. Yes, let's acknowledge the negative, but yes, let's also acknowledge the positive things, because I feel like with every relationship we have, no matter how toxic it may be or seem, there is something that benefited us in that relationship. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been in it. I feel like everyone, it's kind of a teacher and a student. Like, we're constantly teaching people, and then they're constantly teaching us. And let's try to find the lessons there with every relationship. So yeah, I think I've answered the questions. I said when to forgive. Yeah, practice. Like I said, practice forgiving them over and over again if you're ready to, by thinking of the positive and negative, and then also, again, just acknowledging what they did, but also saying thank you. And oh, this brings me to another good point. One thing that has really helped me is the Hawaiian prayer known as Ho'oponopono. I believe, I may not be saying that right. That is a beautiful prayer that I don't remember the exact history behind it, but I know it has something to do with Hawaii. It may have originated there. But that prayer basically says, I don't know if I remember exactly correctly, but it's like, thank you. Or, no, hold on. Okay, it's I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So it's those 4 phrases. And I started practicing this a while back with on Aaron Doughty's channel. I'll actually link that video down below in case anyone's interested in checking out that prayer. But he has a great video on it. He explains what it is and how it originated and came about. And then like somewhere in the video, I think it's like about the last 15 minutes or so, you just keep saying that prayer over and over and over, those four phrases over and over and over again. And you can think about the person that you're saying it to. So like for me, I did it once actually with a friend, and I looked at a picture of them while saying it over and over again. And you're supposed to do it for 30 days. I know that sounds like a huge commitment, and it kind of is. Even just taking 15 minutes out every single day for 30 minutes, or sorry, I'm saying this wrong. For 30 days, saying this prayer for 15 minutes to one person can seem kind of daunting. But if it feels worth it to you, I definitely would say just try it. I kind of did it just to see if anything would change, because it's supposed to help heal the relationship with that person. And I did that with one person for 30 days, and I hadn't heard from them in a while. And I kid you not, they contacted me within days too. And we also started talking again and reconciling our friendship. And yeah, it was a very beautiful thing. So I am a huge believer in Ho'oponopono prayer. Yeah, I think that's one of the best tools. Okay, so again, we said when to forgive, how to forgive. Oh, also, I guess why? Why do you might want to ask yourself, why do you want to forgive this person? What is your intention behind it? I know for me, I've just got so tired of holding on to this anger. And I realize with me that I have a lot of repressed anger with people from my past that I didn't even realize until now. And a lot of it comes out in my dreams. I have a lot of dreams where I just explode with anger, because that's one emotion I haven't mastered. Like, I don't really know what to do when I get angry. I know when I'm sad, I can cry. I know if I'm happy, I can laugh and I can smile. But anger is just one of those things I'm not sure, because I don't want to yell at anybody or say something that I'm gonna feel terrible about later that I can't take back. I don't want to break or damage any property or any objects. I don't want to be around people usually when I'm angry, and I just kind of sit there with it. When I figure that out, maybe I'll make a video about that. But yeah, I just felt all this anger and it felt so heavy, and I just wanted to let it go. And I know for some people, they don't want to forgive because they're like, well, this person did me wrong and you don't know what they did to me. And I totally get that. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But I was doing it for me. I wasn't doing it for the other person. This old friend I've been talking about at the beginning, that I was friends with for 10 years, we don't speak anymore. So like, you can forgive somebody without telling them that you forgive them. You don't ever have to speak to them again if you don't want to. Or yeah, I would say you definitely don't have to. You can forgive on your own in silence. And that is still just as powerful to me than if you said it in person. So yeah, I would definitely do that. I'm just trying to think. I feel like I'm losing my train of thought. What was I saying? Forgiveness, your intention. Oh yeah. It also reminds me of that saying, I don't remember who said it, but something like holding on to resentment or anger is like swallowing poison and hoping that the person you're angry at will die. It's like, it's not, you being angry at someone doesn't necessarily affect them. They could be living their life happily, and yet we're still in pain. So I think somehow we think sometimes that if we hold on to that anger and pain that we're punishing the other person, but not necessarily, not from my experience. So I think it's better to just let go if you're ready to, if you can. And again, like I said, it's a practice. It's something that may come up over and over and over again. Could be days, weeks, months, years, who knows? But if you remember to keep balancing those positive and negative emotions and thoughts towards that person, I feel like, in my opinion, in my experience, eventually it will heal. That wound will heal, and you will feel so much lighter, so much happier, so much better. And this doesn't have to be with just a person. It doesn't have to be, like I said, with a friend, family member, an ex, romantic relationship. It could be with anything. It could be with a job. It could be with an old, an old town or city you used to live in, a community, a thing, a service you used to have. It doesn't even have to be in the past. It can also be current. Let's say, for example, if you really hate your job and you want to leave, but you're still there, I would say, you know, again, acknowledge the things that you don't like about your job, but try to find some things that you do. Even if the only thing you can think of is, my job's paying me money. Even though it's not enough money, I'm still getting a paycheck, and that is one good thing about my job. And then just focus as much as you can on leaving eventually, trying to change it. But in the meantime, changing your attitude about it. All right, I think that is all I have to say for this topic. If anybody tries this technique, whether it's the Ho'oponopono prayer, or if they try to forgive someone by, you know, thinking about all the aspects, please let me know in the comments, especially if you hear from that person that you forgave. If you want to hear from them. I mean, you may not, and you may not be in contact, like I'm not, with that one particular person, but you know, it could change. So hopefully it does. Anyways, I hope you guys are all doing well, and I will see you later. Okay, bye everyone.